Grandpa at heart.
So they say.
How old are
So
you?
they say. I'm 152.
Really? Oh, people ask,
The camera's live.
well, people ask me how long I've lived in Chatham. I said, well, 120 years. And they're like, you look pretty good for that age. And I'm like, well, you know.
Thank you.
What's the occasion for the free lunch?
It's light bulb night.
Do we send the thank you note to Les?
Well, for bringing a knife tonight.
Ooh, nice.
I think you didn't read the note at the door. No guns, no knives, but
Thank you for the special.
take care of
A box opener.
Ooh, 800 lumens. That's a good amount of lumens.
It used to be a 100-watt bulb, though.
It's that guy that lived in Kramer's in Seinfeld's apartment complex, right? Lumen.
Newman.
That's on the record.
They were live. We're ready to go.
My tomatoes.
And with that, we'll open a public hearing regarding the fiscal year 2019 budget ordinance. If anybody'd like to speak regarding the budget, this is the public hearing. Hearing none who wish to speak regarding the budget, we will close the public hearing and proceed to call to order the regular village board meeting July 10th, 2018. If you'd all join me in a moment of silence. And the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, you have the roll.
Trustee Mann.
Here.
Trustee Gerger.
Present.
Trustee Fountain.
Here.
Trustee Lindhorst. Trustee Mao.
Here.
Trustee Scherschel.
Present.
Village President Kimsey.
Present. Public announcements this evening? Also hearing none, the Chatham J.C. Sweet Corn Festival is a week from Friday. You can join us and help shuck 12,000 ears of corn Thursday evening when you get off work. So we'll see you at Community Park. Public comments regarding the agenda topics. I believe nobody signed up. Additional comments? Hearing none, we entertain a motion to move to closed session for collective negotiating matter 2C2.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Trustee Mao has made a motion, second by Trustee Gerger. Madam Clerk?
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Fountain.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Scherschel.
Yes.
And we will return to conduct the rest of the business.
And for the public, the camera's still going, the microphones are still live. So if you don't want to regret it, don't say it.
All that stand-up bit you've been working on? Nobody to push the button. Like it's flickering and it's about to go on.
me out, Amy.
Yes. My brain's like Paw Patrol and Mickey Mouse.
Really cool.
After I sat down, I realized I give Amy.
That's me. He's
He's funny.
This is not the mail. This is something for you to look at.
You just weren't drawing on Matt.
I have a motion to return to regular session.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Churchill. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by trustee Mao. Madam Clerk?
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Fountain.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
A motion to put the consent agenda on the table.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by trustee Churchill, second by trustee Mao. Questions, discussion regarding the warrants or the minutes from previous session? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Fountain.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
No old business. Item 1 under new business, an ordinance making appropriations for all corporate purposes for the fiscal year commencing first day of May 2018 and ending on the 30th day of April 2019. I have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Mao. I have a second.
I'll second.
Second by trustee Mann. Further discussion regarding the budget. Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Fountain.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
Item 2, resolution establishing electric rate for the village of Chatham. Can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by trustee Mao, second by trustee Gerger. This is enacting schedule, rate schedules incorporated within the budget you just passed. With further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Fountain.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
Item 3 is a resolution approving a collective bargaining agreement between the Village of Chatham and the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 965. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Malcolm, second.
Second.
Second by trustee Churchill. Discussion regarding the budget.
The union contract.
The union contract.
I'm sorry, union contract. Always an accountant. It's always. Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Fountain.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
We're going to thank not only Pat and Sherry and Vern and Deputy Chief Tarter, but also the union for negotiating with us in such a manner to get to the budget, or the contract that we get. So much appreciated for them to sit down and understand our goals and us have an opportunity to understand theirs. Item 4 is an ordinance amending the fees and charges for certain services of the village, including cemetery fees and permit fees. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Fountain. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Gerger. This is enacting, again, the fee schedule presented within the budget. With further questions?
Yes. Pat, I sent you an email. I don't know if you saw that or maybe it didn't go through. On the cemetery, there was a place where I think they had the $75 being increased to $125, but both of them were crossed out. Should I assume that was in error?
Yep.
Section 3A3, I believe it was.
Oh, opening, closing of cremations. Yeah, it says 75, and it's supposed to get to 125, so that's not supposed to be crossed out.
125 is the correct number. Can I have a motion to amend that to clarify that 125? Do
I'll make that motion.
I have a second?
I'll second.
Madam Clerk, on the amendment.
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Fountain.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
Additional discussion? All right, on the ordinance as amended, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Fountain.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
Item 5 is an ordinance authorizing a contract to McCann Concrete Products for a new utility building enclosure at the water tower. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by trustee Churchill, second by trustee Mann. This is the bids for the building next to the water tower that houses our equipment. Pat described the RFP that went out, and the successful bid was $22,730.
And that includes the 3 alternates.
Heating, electrical, and ventilation.
Yeah.
Further discussion?
Yeah, one question. Not knowing the type of equipment that's going to be stored in there, is there a need for air conditioning?
No.
Especially if you're pulling the hot air out of it, but you're also pulling in 95-degree temperatures, is that having an effect on the equipment that's in there, along with the humidity?
I don't think the plans for it, it's just electric equipment as well as the piece of equipment that monitors the level in the tower, and temperature doesn't cause that a problem unless it freezes.
Okay.
So
So the police equipment's not gonna be in there that we talked about before?
it's the radio repeaters. It's not per se the police radios. It's their old system, and the SEMA guys also use that too. So
And that would.
all that stuff was in that old wooden one that's sitting out there, and this is a lot better building.
Okay.
So we should be fine.
Madam Clerk?
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Fountain.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
Item 6, an ordinance amending Title 15 of the Village Code providing for the regulation of an application for small wireless facilities. I have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Trustee Mann. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Gerger. Discussion regarding this.
This is what we discussed at the last meeting.
This is updating our small cell
Bring us up to
state
state.
law.
Yep.
Madam Clerk? Oh, sorry.
I have one question for Pat, though. Do we have the permitting apparatus in place, the process in-house for this yet, or is there still some development that needs to happen around that?
We had a permit system before, and we had a price before, and this repeals that previous ordinance and puts this in place, and it follows the state's procedures. But do I have an actual form to fill out today? No, I don't think so. Do we?
IML has one.
Do they?
That we're going to base it off of. Yeah, they put out a sample permit that would follow the standard
State law.
ordinance, which is what we're adopting for the most part.
AT&T followed up very quickly. They're really interested in getting one down here right away, at least one. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a request within the next week or so. Then.
Okay, yeah, they'll be hot on this passage, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Madam Clerk?
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Fountain.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
Item 7 is an ordinance approving a partial plat of easement vacation at Ironbridge Estates, second edition. I have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Trustee Fountain. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Trustee Gerger. Pat?
That was where in our Bridge Estates there was 2 separate lots and had a utility easement and drainage easement going between them. Someone purchased both of those lots and they're going to build across it. So having that easement to be able to get between those where those 2 houses were before is no longer needed. So they wanted to be able to put the house in the middle of the 2 lots. We're vacating that easement then. There currently wasn't any utilities in there now anyway. So.
Additional questions or discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Fountain.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
This is a motion to accept.
Yeah.
Item 8 is an intergovernmental cooperation agreement for animal control service between Sangamon County and the Village of Chatham. I have a motion to accept this agreement.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion regarding the agreements or?
Little background on that. The county bases their fee that they charge us every year off of how many times we called them and needed their services the previous year. Our price dropped down to $1,208.56 this year. So there was not much of a need to call the animal control last year. So
I think you could give credit where this is due. The things like the Nextdoor app and Facebook and so I see more lost dog, wandering dog calls that used to be calls to animal control to pick them up. And people just alert their neighbors. And I think we're finding a lot more of our own dogs rather than have somebody come in and pick them up. So kudos, that saved several $1,000s doing that. Additional comments on village business? Hearing none. Schedule of meetings.
Do we need to vote on item number 8?
On what? Oh, I'm sorry.
We need to adopt.
Yeah, I just had to read.
You're all in favor, right?
No,
Roll call. Madam Clerk.
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Fountain.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
Nice catch. One more offer for public comments on village business. Hearing none.
More often.
Schedule of meetings. Planning Commission 6 p.m. July 19th. Village Board meets 6 p.m. July 24th. Utility Oversight Subcommittee 6 p.m. August 13th. Chatham Police Commission 5:30 August 16th. Public Properties Recreation Commission 6 p.m. September 10th.
And then also 88 will be meeting next Tuesday, the 17th at 6 p.m. here at the Village Hall.
6 p.m.
Yes.
on the
I
17th.
apologize, Terry. I missed the 88 one on there.
That's okay.
I usually try to pride myself in not missing any of those.
All right. No further business. We have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
We have a second.
Second.
All
Second.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting stands adjourned.
Can we call roll call for committee of the whole?
Trustee Mann.
Here.
Trustee Gerger.
Present.
Trustee Fountain.
Here.
Trustee Mao.
Here.
Trustee Churchill.
Present. Any public comments on agenda topics? None. Can I have a motion to bring the consent agenda to the table?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Fountain is the second, and Mr. Mann is the first. Any discussion on the minutes from the last meeting? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Old business, we have none. New business, CMT engineering updates. Mr. Brown?
Well, I'll start. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll start with news from South Sangamon. They are. We've still got 2 current employees running the South Sangamon water plant. They were going to be on till the end of the month, and the hiring process for a new water superintendent there has begun. And one of the 2 employees is also being looked at as a possible water operator out there as well. And so that's progressing. The plant itself is running okay after a little hiccup a few weeks ago on Father's Day, which I happened to be right in the middle of. They lost electronics communication, and the high service pumps kept pumping to Chatham for a while, but then the low service pumps shut off, and the clear well went dry overnight, and they were not notified. When I say dry, I don't know exactly how much water was left in it, but not much. And the pressure dropped, and that was like I say, Father's Day, that Sunday. The pressure dropped. They called me, or I called them and said, what's going on? They said we had about 18 pounds of pressure, and we called the boil order. And typically, if it is below 20 pounds, that is the criteria for a boil order in Illinois. So I think they did the right thing. Of course, they called the boil order for their residents, which includes maybe 20-some service connections plus EJ water connections, which is several hundred on them. But it's all residential. And I made the decision, and I said, well, you're back up and running. They said, yeah, we just had a gradual decrease to that pressure in the transmission main. And meanwhile, Chatham, we had put the ground tank in about a week before, and the ground tank was full. Chatham was utilizing the ground tank water. Chlorine residual was good, and I made the decision to call the head of the EPA and ask him if we could avoid a boil order for Chatham and New Berlin, based on the fact that the pressure was just barely below the 20 criteria, and in my experience, not any endangerment of contamination really. And he agreed, so that is why South Sangamon had their boil order and Chatham and New Berlin did not have their boil order. Pressure came right back up. There was not it wasn't caused by a main break, for instance, or something like that, where you're sure that maybe there might be some break in the integrity of the pipe or anything like that. So I think between him and I, we thought it was a prudent thing to do. So that's what happened. In the future, we will get with South Sangamon, make sure that we have a better communication in place to where they know exactly what to do. They should probably we're going to make sure they contact Chatham, and we can discuss if there is a problem, what the proper steps to take are, whether or not there's a boil order. Boil order in Chatham, as you can imagine, is a pretty big deal with human businesses and schools in session. There's a lot of issues. First of all, you want to make sure the water is safe to drink, and that's the big thing. So if in our hearts we think it is, in our experience, that the water is safe to drink, then we make these judgment calls. But if you can avoid calling a boil order with a little, avoid that knee-jerk reaction, then that's typically. So that happened, and like I say, in the future, we'll have a couple of statements that South Sangamon can issue, Chatham can issue under different conditions to make sure everyone knows just exactly what the situation is. At the plant as well, they have some new membranes that have been installed. About a month ago, they installed 1/6 of the whole total plant of membranes, and they're going to install the second 1/6 this week. So that will mean we'll have 1/3 new membranes probably by the end of the week or next week. The new membranes are hopefully we'll give them require less washes, or better integrity. They're actually an improved product, as I understand it, as well. And so I think we'll have better operation. And I asked them even yesterday when I was out there, how much water can you produce? And they told me that they're in pretty good shape. All the wells are in service, and we hope to avoid going back on CWLP water. That is what happened when they lost the plant. We had to go back on CWLP water for a short time. And of course, the water's coming in at Route 4 when we did that. And that way the water kind of stays in a kind of a segregated area of town. And the chloramine problem and the reaction's not as big a problem as it would be if it was all coming into the ground tank. So I think we had a pretty good situation there. I have been attending the South Sangamon board meetings. New Berlin's got a new commissioner, a new board member. And so I've been, either Pat or I have been going to every one of the board meetings. So we'll make sure that we keep in touch with what's going on out there as well. Anybody got any questions? Feel free to jump in here.
Did they get to the bottom of the root cause on the failure of the SCADA system? Did they resolve the issue?
Well, they got it fixed. The problem with Woodard and Kern's operation is their SCADA people are out east coast somewhere, and they tend to fix things. And I don't think the guys that are out there are that electronic savvy, nor am I, to know how the PLCs are communicating and how every little thing works. So the SCADA, I would say the answer is, they finally did figure out what happened, but I'm not sure that the integrity of the system is where it ought to be. We need. They had another hiccup just the other day and said that this wasn't talking to this, and so I think when Woodard and Kern, as they exit and they transition to the new operation, I think hopefully we'll get involved and make sure we know exactly what's right, what's wrong with the system, and how it communicates. Any other questions?
Well, so can you? That scares me a little bit. So you said that they're currently monitoring the SCADA system out of the East Coast or someplace else. So when Woodard and Kern does pull themselves out of the facility later this month, what's the plan for that monitoring system?
Pat, do you have some input on that?
I don't really. I think the initial, when I was talking to Lee, was that they would still keep Woodard and Kern's SCADA people on. They really hadn't had a lot of problems with their system until just recently. And I don't know if that was a combination of two new operators out there. Dan Held knew the system a little bit better than the guys that are currently out there. They got put in a tough spot. They got brought in to try to run a plant that Dan had been running for 6 years. respond to it or knew what to do. I'm not sure that was the same case. So I think one of the things that we'll have to do is make sure that whoever's going to be operating the plant understands the SCADA system, and if they're going to continue with Woodard and Kirkland as the people that maintain it for them and run backups and do repairs, then they need to be able to contact. If not, and they're going to go out and look for someone else, then you need to make sure that somebody comes in and can understand how the current system is set up so that they can take over running it. It's just like anything else. Electronic.
Yeah, and that's
somebody tweaks it one way, somebody else will tweak it.
There's always a million ways to do one thing, especially when it comes to IT services like SCADA.
I think we're on the lucky side because when the pressures drop out there, our systems catch it. Shut us off from it. And that's what keeps our side safer. And we have an emergency contract with the city of Springfield to be able to help us out when we need that. But I know Lee he's got a lot of things on his plate for a part-time guy who's trying to hire 2 people and get the chloramine system and everything else, all that installed. They're installing the new filters. So there's a lot going on. He really needs to get those 2 in place and then somebody come in and be the manager. So, we just need to keep trying to help him, and thank God Phil's here to be able to help him get through a lot of that stuff. So.
Has there been any more talk? I know a while back on the green sand filter stuff, or no?
No, there has not. The problem with that project and any others that would solve some of the operational problems out there is that they cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And at this point, we don't want to get your water rates going any higher without, an absolute dire need. So there's been no talk of that right now. Just focusing on the chloramine conversion, which is probably going to happen in the next 6 weeks. And like I said, the new membranes are in. Spent some money on those, so not any bigger plans going on right now.
Okay. So within the next 6 weeks, the conversion will probably be finalized for the chloramines?
We hope so.
Okay.
We have not.
It might be a little longer than that because I think didn't they say that it was going to take 6 weeks just for the equipment to come in? And it's been 2, right? So,
right.
Yeah, so.
Well, it shouldn't take too long, but the engineer is communicating with the South Sangamon board and not directly with us.
Sure.
By design, so.
But they were waiting to get those new membrane filters in until they moved to that step. Is that why?
No. It's just timing.
The
The membranes came from France.
Yeah, there's kind of a parallel thing. They ordered them and they're coming in, and those guys are installing them, which is a good deal. We're glad to have them on long enough to get that done, but it's kind of a separate function. Okay. Anything else at South Sangamon?
Is there much of a price difference in operating going from chlorine to chloramines, or is it pretty much a break even? Or
well, the ammonia will add an additional cost for the ammonia. It's not a lot of money, so I would say it's just a slight cost difference.
Okay.
It's kind of where we need to be because the backup with CWLP is not a good situation long term. So, anything else? Another news, your ground tank's all painted. Congratulations on picking out some great colors, which is a little different, and I think I like them. It wasn't my decision. I'll look around the room. I don't know who made it. And the tank looks nice, but integrity's good. We got new safe ladders to climb and hatches that are in the right place, and the paint job, the painting contractors are not real easy to work with, industrial painting contractors anyway. But they got the job done, and we were glad to see that they did that. You will get a new fence as soon as we get the site surveyed out there. And, I think it'll look real nice. The valve that you all purchased, the tank painting was the $400,000. The elevated tank, which is going to happen in the fall, will be about $700,000 due to the fact that we're doing inside and out, and it's 120 feet off the ground. And then the control valve was about $70,000, and that was the valve that's in the pit in front of the ground tank. And that control valve After some tweaking, is working well. Initially, we had some pressure, so we didn't understand, and so we looked into it, communicated between Shane and your staff, and finally we figured out there had to be a closed or partially closed valve on the South Sangamon transmission main. And so Dustin and the crew went out and did a nice job checking pressures on the hydrants, starting at the ground tank, working towards South Sangamon. They numbered them 1 through 10 and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And just as we thought, we had low pressure, and then all of a sudden we had one hydrant with high pressure, and by Ball School, and then they figured out that that there was a big main valve that was partially closed. So Shane went out about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and opened it another 32 turns, which meant it was only about a third open. And as soon as he did that, the pressure to the control valve went from 39 up to the 52 that we had calculated and figured it would be. And then all of a sudden the control valve started operating. Right before that, the valve was opening and closing a lot because of the low pressure, and which was hard on the valve and the pumps and everything else. But anyway, we're glad to find that closed valve. That valve was closed, we think, by maybe a contractor that fixed a leak on the main or a service on behalf of South Sangamon sometime in the past. We don't know if it was a year ago or how long it's been closed, but it's been partially closed for quite a while. So it's good to have that restored and have full flow to the ground tank. So.
And I talked to Lee and I told him that we've initiated a double check system for if anybody closes any valves. 2 people know where those valves are at, and 2 people go back and check and make sure they're open. So he did the same thing. So Woodard and Kern, if they allow anybody to work on their mains and stuff, they're going to go back and have to check, or whoever is going to be operating the plant, that if Petersburg does some work, they'll both go along and make sure that all the valves are open.
In years past, Dan Hill came up from South Sangamon and manually actually closed another valve to create back pressure on their system and to keep their pumps running in the proper part of the head curve. And now the control valve's doing that automatically. Plus we have new displays at the ground tank booster station that show that the valve position, exactly how much flow is going. So you now have your own flow meter going into the ground tank, which you never had. All the flows were being billed by the booster tank valve. Flow meter coming out of the pumps. So now we have a flow meter at South Sangamon for their high service pumps that measures everything that goes to their 20 connections and EJ Water and you in New Berlin. So they've got the whole package there. You've got yours going into the ground tank. So by subtraction now we can always make sure that if you're pumping 1,000 gallons a minute and you're getting 900, well, he knows he's got 100 gallons a minute going to his EJ Water customers. So it's a much better monitoring system than you had before. So hopefully that will improve operations all the way around. Chlorine residuals been good. I've been keeping an eye on that and making sure that I call them if I see it getting a little low. New Berlin had the county fair out there and some things going on. White Road, this tank painting was going on and transitioning, and we made sure that the chlorine was good the whole time. And it worked out well with the CWLP coming in at Route 4 with the chloramines, because the fairly dedicated main that goes around south of town to New Berlin had the free chlorine from the plant going in it the whole time. So New Berlin did not suffer from a mixture of the 2 chlorines together producing a 0 residual, which would have been a bad situation. And EPA would have probably jumped in and said, okay, time for the boiler kids. So we avoided that. So anyway, everything's running as well as can be expected at this point. Any questions?
And Bill deserves a lot of credit for that.
Yeah. Thank you.
I said you deserve a lot of credit for that. Your knowledge helps guide us in the right direction.
Well, having EPA's cell phone number, Sandy Morton.
Yeah.
You were on the golf course, and I got called off the first tee, as I recall. So I wasn't.
You left. I kept playing.
I would have shot good one. So.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Village manager update.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, 2 items at the next board meeting. I'll have 2 ordinances created to create 2 new positions in the village. One of them is we've had on the books for a while as the accounting position, the second accounting position. attempted to do that as a union position, but we could not get anybody to take it for that salary. So we will bring that back and present a salary to you for a second accounting position. We've been carrying that forward in the budget for the last 2 years, hoping that we could get to that point. And the union, operators union, agreed to take that position out of the contract when we negotiated at this time. So that will be one. And the other one, I've talked to you all individually, creating a second general foreman's position. And it will be for a person that will manage the water department as well as the parks. So those two positions will be for you guys to vote on next week. Okay.
Okay. Any questions? Anybody? One thing I do want to bring up, I know we've talked about before, but I've had a few people bringing up that Park and Plummer intersection again. And I know I think we've already done a study, but I promised I would bring it up. But that they said they were in an accident last year, and the police officer then said they do have a lot of accidents. So, but I know we had a study and there's not. So, I don't know if you've had any more happen since then. At that intersection?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, for the intersection, there's much traffic runs up and down that road. The accidents are very few and far between. I mean, eventually, maybe someday, it may serve the purpose, but I mean, the issue we run into every year is before school and after school. That's probably the biggest problems we have. Other than that, I think by putting a light up there in the meantime, you're just going to slow traffic. Very good stop.
And they had brought up putting in like stop signs, but that would start to really create backups a lot, especially along
especially in the winter. I would think that would cause some issues
with ice.
Trying to stop on that.
Yeah.
Say what?
It's a feeder. It's
yeah.
Yeah.
I think things would work out better if that retaining wall that is you're facing north, that's to the left, that's to the west. If there was a way that we could cut back that retaining wall and get it a little bit lower so that as you're pulling up, you can see that direction.
No, actually, Pat.
Yeah, there was.
And unfortunately, it came to me after they had done all the striping, seeing that we've got that 2 or 3 foot buffer between opposing traffic. We should have probably taken that out and moved eastbound traffic over that 3 feet and stripe that area next to the curb, white with stripes, and that would push that traffic out to where it'd be a little bit more visible. But
we can do that. We can turn around and we can get somebody back in here and just stripe that area and see if that works. The other thing that we were going to do is, or we already did, was there was a left-hand turn lane there. But if you sat in that left-hand turn lane, you couldn't see anything. So we got rid of the left-hand turn lane and tried to get everybody over to the right as far as they could, because you can creep out a little bit farther to see if somebody's coming right along that wall. So maybe a combination of, once we get the new overlay for that work on Park Street and get it striped and keep everybody over to the right, and then when they're striping it, we'll get them to change the striping and move that over a little bit going through that intersection. So as you come up, you're not sucked up against the sidewalk there, and you're more out a little bit more towards it.
Now, have those plans have not been let yet?
They have not. They're at the state now for review.
Okay. If you're looking to add that into that contract, in order for it to remain germane, that work would have to be included in the plans. Unless
we couldn't hire the striping contractor.
Oh, no, yeah. If we're using village funds and they say, yeah, we can do this for $1,000 or something, then that would be outside the contract, and then germaneness does not come into play.
I think Jim delivered those to the state today for review. Chris Isabel said he thought 2 weeks, maybe.
Okay. As we're mentioning Park Street, once again, it dawned on me on my way into work, there's a product out there called J-Ban, which is something that if you travel on I-55 between 6th and Stevenson, you see that along the center line joints. And basically, you take a look at Plummer any place where you've got those longitudinal joints, they're just falling apart. This actually extends that life. And of course, one of the guys who represent one of the companies that produced that, former Sangamon County engineer, he was in the office, and I was talking to him about it. And apparently it runs about $2.50, $3 a lineal foot. I'm not sure what the overall length of that project is, but that may be something that they may want to look to either add or get an agreed unit price once the project's been let.
Terry, do you know if there's a minimum square footage for them to mobilize?
I talked to him about it. He says your price could possibly go up some.
If you don't have thousands of feet.
He was making it sound like we might actually be in good shape.
No. That was the only
thing with that length. But, once again, that's where if after it's been let, they go to the contractor, get an agreed unit price, and they go, oh, yeah, we can do this for $20 a lineal foot. Then we go, never mind. But if all of a sudden they come into something that's reasonable, I think it would definitely be a good use of those funds to keep that center line lasting much longer than what they typically do.
Are they contemplating looking at a piece of equipment that can do it across the asphalt instead of with the lanes?
Apparently they're looking at a couple different things out there. One, they're looking at possibly trying to develop something that's a little bit thinner than what's currently out there, than what they're currently doing. The other is doing the entire mat. So basically curb line to curb line.
The whole thing with that?
Yes. Which I think would then price it out beyond what we,
Well,
but basically there's some stuff that,
if you could seal that road as tight as that stuff does, you'd probably never have a problem with that road, would you?
Well, and that's one of the things he was saying that, some of the stuff they put down in the early 2000, usually the center line is what goes first. And apparently the center line is in great shape and it's the rest of the road that's falling apart. And you see this 1 foot strip running down the center that's in great shape.
Do they grind anything out when they put that down, or is that just a strict overlay of it?
It's basically a very heavy type of primer type of material. It does require a special piece of equipment to put it in place.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll shoot you an email.
I wish I would have intended it.
And CC Jim on that just to get some consideration too.
Well, we've been talking about trying to do something there, even if we had to cut that out ourselves and have our crews put it across that joint back concrete. And then figure that sooner or later we'll come along there, grind it down, and then overlay the whole thing. But yeah, if we could probably come up with enough feet, hopefully to meet a minimum to be able to get them to come in here, or at least maybe work with another community that might be able to. And
okay,
I always figured that was going to be way too expensive for us to be able to do, but.
I'm being told roughly $2.50 to $3 a lineal foot. So, but once again, I don't know what the overall length is. I'm guessing it's somewhere 1,500, 2,000 feet that they're going to be resurfacing on Park Street. So, that does put it somewhere in the $5,000 to $6,000 range potentially, but I think it would be well worth it.
Extended years.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a great front end investment.
Mm-hmm. I made a request to the state to come out and take a look at the striping on Route 4. It seems like it's worn off very fast since the last time they've done it, especially once you get past Plummer coming into town. A lot of the turn lanes are completely wiped out. You can't tell where there's a turn lane from two different directions. People are jumping over too soon, and then now people are just sitting there looking at each other because they're both there and they can't get back in their lane. And so...
Seems like something this winter wiped them out pretty heavy.
I don't know if it's salt or if they just use a cheaper brand of paint or stripe paint or what. But
okay. Any other questions?
Got any questions for me?
Well, where are we at on the e-alert stuff?
Oh, actually, me and Vern had a call today, and we told the guy if he can get the contract to us this week, they'll do it for $5,500. So it's Vern car sales team and talked him down $500.
Got $500 off of it. Huh?
Yeah, but we'll be
white walls on that.
We'll be implementing a new warning system for the residents. We can take all of our current people that get emails and text messages, dump them into the system. Then the system will turn around and send them a link to go to a web page and fill out their information. And that's one of the things that we really, really want people to do. We want to be able to see their name in there and their address, because this system is smart enough that if I have a water main break over on Teal Drive and I know it's affecting these 2 blocks, I can draw a circle around that and it will automatically send an alert just to those 20 houses or 30 houses. So if we can get everybody signed up and put their address in there, they'll get, the other thing is our current system, you get all the alerts whether you want them all or not. With the new system, we can create any type of alert that you want, and then you get to go and pick and choose which ones you want to get. And if you decide, oh, I signed up for this one, but you know what, I really don't need to know when you guys are doing flushing, you can go back at any time, log into your account, uncheck it.
Click it off.
We can use it for all of our employees. Right now, if we send something out, it goes out by email. We can get everybody's cell phone numbers put in there. They'll get a text message. You know, it's easier to be able for Jill then to get the guys that are working out in the field to respond to stuff instead of a couple days later when they go home and get on their computer and check out their email. So the cost is $5,500 a year total for the software and the maintenance, and they store all the stuff in the cloud.
No
they
more
guaranteed
monkeying
that
around
price
with-
for 3 years.
Yeah, no more monkeying around with multiple email addresses.
Right.
Yeah.
We won't get
Anything per
blacklisted.
year for
Huh?
this? Are we paying anything per year with the system we currently have?
$500.
But it's
A
failing.
system that doesn't fully work.
Right.
Yeah.
It also integrates with a lot of the national stuff as well. So if you're driving through Chatham and there's something that the village wants to put out over iPaws, it'll use its alert to grab somebody. Yeah, it's a really good product.
The other system was great. It got us into that era of being able to alert all of our residents, and a lot of communities followed suit and started implementing that. Springfield did after we started it. A lot of the smaller communities, but we're running into more and more problems with it as we get more and more people signed up. To be able to get around getting blocked, we would only be able to send out 8 messages at a time. So if it was something that we needed to let people know in a hurry, if you were at the bottom of the list, it might have been 10 minutes before you ended up getting your notification. This, they all go out instantaneous. We tested it here. You can either get a text message, an email, or it will send a voice message. It will convert our text message to a voice message and send it to your phone, and then you can listen to it there, or your home phone. If you don't have a mobile or a cell phone, you can send it to your landline, and if you don't answer it, it will leave a message on your landline for you. So it tries to cover more bases. It works fine with Facebook and Twitter. So once we post something on there, it'll automatically post it to those. So if that's how you got your messages in the past, I had money in my IT budget for it, and it's within the amount that I can sign for. So we went ahead and told them that we wanted to switch.
Sounds good. Good.
And we're going to try to get a marketing campaign to get as many people signed up and put all their information in as we can. Because I think once people see the capabilities of it, it'll be nice, really nice.
All right. Thank you.
And thank Vern for finding that one.
Thank you, Vern.
Yeah.
Good work.
Any public comments on village business? Hearing none. Schedule of meetings. Village board, see the village board schedule of meetings. Next committee of the whole, 6:15, August 14th, 2018. Closed session, there is a need for closed session under the personnel. 2C1, can I have a motion?
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by trustee Mao, seconded by trustee Mann. We'll have no further business when we come back. So,
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Berger.
yes.
Trustee Fountain.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to stop the broadcast then.
Thank you.
Good work on the light.